Let's talk about Marc-Andre Fleury, because this topic is one that when I saw it earlier today, my eyebrows raised. Could he be a trade target, Elliot, for the Hawks leaving Vegas?
This has been sort of this was actually came up a couple of weeks ago. I do think Chicago asked Vegas about Marc-Andre Fleury. Then I think it went away, and it's difficult to tell exactly, Tony, where the embers are right now. I think that Vegas had a move and goal that they were looking to do. I think there's a chance it was more likely Leonard as opposed to Fleury. Like I think there was interest in Leonard and Fleury, but I think they were closer to something with Leonard. It fell through. I don't know if it was New Jersey. I don't know if it was Detroit. And Darren's buddy Stevie Y won't be telling anybody. So I think Vegas had something they were looking at, and it fell through. And now I think they're evaluating all their options again. So I do think, look, they've got Alex Martinez basically locked up around three times five. They're going to need to move some money somewhere. I think they're interested in making a goalie move, but it's hard to say if it's going to be one or the other right now as we speak today.
Yeah, Elliot, I agree with you on that. I think there was a lot of different scenarios for three-way deals that the team that traded for Marc-Andre, he wouldn't necessarily land there. And the idea was for him to end up back in Pittsburgh because he's got full control, he and his agent Alan Walsh, on where he goes, and that couldn't be done. But I think Marc-Andre Fleury, I picture him in a Chicago Blackhawks sweater, and I would think that that would excite a lot of those players. There's just something special, Elliot, about the way that he is as a person, the way he plays, the excitement that he brings, the flash. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks have had a lot of great goaltenders.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, from Glenn Hall to Tony Esposito to Murray Vanderman to Ed Belfour, and that's an area certainly for the Blackhawks to get back to while they develop some of the younger players. This would ignite them. Not as entertaining as your hair today, Elliot, but really, really close.
I gotta tell you, Panger, it's been a lot worse than this. This is the best it's been probably in about 5 months.
I'll take a line from Steve Thomas, the great Stumpy would have asked you, did you comb that with a ham sandwich?
One last note on Flower. Our coordinating producer said this earlier today. Steve Tronzano, he said, what's the last time that the Vezina winner was traded? And all of us were like, wow, it was like a record scratch. That could be
2001.
Potentially possible. Oh, really?
Dominik Hasek from Buffalo to Detroit.
That's why I love him.
I had him ask me this. I got the question.
Because you know what? Honestly, Darren, the only other one I could think of was in '67. Did Sawchuk and Bauer share the Vezina, and then Sawchuk was taken in the expansion draft? That's the only thing. If I'm right, that's the only one I could even think of that was close.
Good call by you.
I love talking with you guys. Here's the next topic. What's the latest on the Dougie Hamilton to New Jersey rumors? Boy, Dougie has moved around the league a lot. Is he on the move again?
So this is what I think is going on. So Carolina, Don Waddell, after the draft on Saturday, the Carolina GM said they have to know by Wednesday. And I think they've been talking to him today, and we're still waiting to see if this goes anywhere. I think that Carolina's negotiation point with Hamilton started around Torrey Krug, who Darren saw a lot of this year in St. Louis. Torrey Krug's number is 7 years, just over 6.5. I think Hamilton felt he could go do better on the open market, and he's been looking around. Like, you look at Seth Jones' deal, you've got to think that Hamilton's price went up. Here's the issue. Where's the opening? Chicago's now out. Philly is now out. I don't think Seattle's going to do that. So to me, like, there's always something I'm missing. Like, I always think there's things going on behind the scenes I don't see. But if it's not Carolina, New Jersey is the next obvious place. And if it's not there, I don't know where it is. I look at New Jersey. They want to breathe some life into their franchise. I saw the excitement when they took Luke Hughes. You can see all those fans with the Luke signs. I think they're looking at it and saying, if we bring in like a Dougie Hamilton and maybe a forward who can score, we're going to have something here. We're going to have an excited fan base. I think New Jersey's weighing it if he doesn't sign in Carolina.
Elliot, do you think that's a lot of money on the right side, though, with PK Subban still under contract?
PK's only got one more year, though.
Yeah,
like they've got a lot of cap room. You can handle that for a year. Yeah. You can handle it for a year.
And I got the sense in talking with Tom Fitzgerald the night of the first round that he's committed, that they are committed to getting, as he put it, the crew rocking. Zach Werenski, it has been a mass exodus for Columbus Blue Jackets fans. They've seen some of their most favorite players leave town. Could he be available, Zach, now that Seth Jones is gone? We always sort of think of them together.
I think people have asked. The Blue Jackets have definitely been asked, what are they thinking there? I think the difference with Zach Werenski and Seth Jones is that Seth Jones was only 1 year away from unrestricted free agency. And even though Werenski is one more year under contract, he's still 2 years from unrestricted free agency. But I do think Columbus has been asked, and I just think, Darren, if you were a team in the NHL right now and you saw what Columbus was up to, you wouldn't be doing your job as a general manager if you didn't call and ask. This is in the Blue Jackets ballpark. They will decide this, but I definitely know that they've been asked.
Yeah, Werenski, a Michigan native as well, and while Steve Yzerman's filling up the cupboard there and making his team more competitive, I would think that the agents representing Zach would at least make that phone call. There's something very stoic and unique about the way that he plays. His ability to see the ice, playmaker. I like the way he plays, Elliot, and I think there'd be a really good market for Werenski. I just think that the way, again, good players would like to play with him because of the way he makes his passes. They're always heel-to-toe sauce, but they're always on the tape. The outlet passes are always exceptional, so he escapes his own zone with relative ease. So he'd be a pretty a good asset for somebody to pick up, and Columbus would pick up a lot on their end, as they're doing right now.
Agreed.
Clearly, you're high on him. After this year's playoffs, everyone in hockey is high on Phillip Danault. Are the Kings interested in signing him as a free agent, Elliot?
So I mentioned this in my notes last night and podcast yesterday. I was initially surprised to hear it. Like, they have an unbelievable prospect base of young centers. To me, the biggest question is, I think Danault's going to get a big number. Montreal's offer to him was 6 times 5. That was before the season. At the time, I was told they were about $500,000 to $750,000 apart per season. And that number hasn't gone down, and all indications are he won't be back for the Canadiens. I understand why the Kings might think about this. One, Kopitar and Doughty have been vocal about, we want to win. And number two, with Kopitar and Danault there, you can protect a lot of your centers from difficult matchups until they're really ready. You know, they have really, and that graphic doesn't even mention, say, a Quinton Byfield, for example, who's getting close to being ready for the National Hockey League. The only thing that makes me wonder about it, Tony, is can you make it work contract-wise? Like, eventually you're going to have some other guy, eventually Kopitar comes off the cap and Doughty comes off the cap, but you're going to have to start signing some of these guys. To me, it makes a lot of sense why the Kings would want to try it. I think Seattle's going to be around there. I have no idea if Vegas can make it work. I assume they're going to be around there. And I wonder if the Rangers are looking at this and if they're around there. I've heard there's a lot of interest in Danault, Darren, but it's hard for me to pin it exactly down.
Well, unless you see him all the time, too, Elliot, it's hard to get a great appreciation for him. Long talked about as maybe the next level of Selke Award players. Now, if you see him the first glance, you're like, I don't really see that. Then you watch him 5, 6, 7 times in a row. That's why maybe LA would be a good fit, to take away some of that responsibility that Kopitar has every single night. I remember a couple of years ago, Bruce Cassidy told me that we're getting Bergeron on offensive zone faceoffs more than D zone faceoff that Claude Julien utilized so often. It's wearing him out, and he's such a great offensive player anyway. Let's get him going on the offensive side of it and give him a break a little bit. And the Blues did that with Alex Pietrangelo too, leading up to his UFA season as well, and he got 16 goals by doing that. Maybe by Danault being there. I mean, Kopitar sometimes gets a little bit of an easier night because he's one of the best 200-foot players in the NHL, Tony.
That's well said. We'd love to keep talking with you, Elliot, but it's time for you to get off, Prince. I worked on that all day long. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, guys, have a great night. Great to chat with you, Tony. Great to chat with you, Darren.